You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Hey guys, welcome to another show, FHL, episode 73. And I've got a title here, What's Next in Business? And we might have a conversation around that, Joey and I. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Click the notification button, and that way you'll know when we're on, usually around the same time every week. And of course, this is personal development with a lifestyle plan. And of course, you can reach out and we'll get into some of those things about what Joey and I are doing to try and make a difference. But again, you can go to our Facebook page, The Real Mick McQuillan, download your goal sheet, and you can kick off your 16-week challenge into looking and feeling and moving the best you felt in a decade. Really, no more complicated than that, right? But it's about change and, you know, transforming your life for the better. So welcome, Joey. Great to see you. How you doing? What have you been up to? I need to unmute you. I can't unmute you. You have to unmute yourself.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Mark. Good day. This is Joy Magongo here from Sydney, Australia. Always grateful to be here in this podcast. And like Mike said, we're here to make an impact and make a difference and also contribute to some values that we believe that we learn from the past mentors and current mentor. And looking forward to share that with you every Sunday from the comfy of our home. And that's the beauty of having the technology that we are able to collaborate and communicate in a certain way. And hopefully we can add value. And if you will listen to this and or watching this later, we just want you to know that we are so grateful that we have the opportunity to have a conversation.
Yeah, Joe, you and I were on a call last week. It was a 3-day branding challenge put up by it. And do you know what was interesting about that? And it just struck me because they were talking in that. Obviously, you know, you're in business and you're in business, I'm in business, and they were talking about creating a personal brand. And they were saying, you know, like it's not a short-term thing. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. And you know that it's got to be about 3 years. You know, and when I think about you, and when I think about me and what we're doing here, we're about 1.5 years into that, Joe.
Yeah, we both. Great concept, and I think
Did you get the replay yet?
I did have the replay through the email, and I also have it in my Kajabi platform or apps. So that's archived into my archive now. I drove to the countryside on Friday and spent time there on Saturday and come back on Saturday night. I did 3-hour driving. I put it on. That's the beauty of it. Be able to replay those kind of training, and those kind of training, the people that they show up to do the training for us or contribute to the program. I used to watch them on magazine and watch them on YouTube, but to get them personally, train them in a virtual room with us is a pleasure and a blessing too to me, because they drop a lot of nugget value information that's so true. Because you know we came a long way from the industrial ages to the information ages, and now I believe we are on the brand ages, and a lot of people if they are not keep up with the technology, a lot of people they use the technology to improve their personal brand, and it's all about you know, our reputation and what people knows you and I for. You know, we have our individual personal brand. Everyone different. They have their own style, lifestyle, and also niche or passion in life. But when we have the education and get the people they already success in the business world and also entrepreneurs, it's amazing how little things can make a big difference in your business world and also whatever you want to do in life. Just go back to your personal brand. What do you want people to know you for, and how do you want people when you come into the room? What do you want people to think of you, and when you left the room, what people want to thinking about you too? So I hope that the personal brand that we built, and I believe that we are building a personal brand to add value to people, not only so our lifestyle, our business that we believe in and the thing that we do, but also we believe that you know, telling or sharing our story will make an impact. Maybe it's just the people watching and smile. You know, let them look up a little bit better or inspire a little bit in life to, you know, thinking of a positive way instead of a negative way.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense, Joe. You know, like because it is about how you think, isn't it? We've done a lot on this, you know, in the last couple of weeks. You know, you become what you think and different things, and then of course I had the How to Break the Habit of Being Yourself up there last week, and again, it's all about, you know, starting with that thought process, you know, and how you think about things, you know, and I think about, you know, like this year, you know, I set out this year at the beginning of 2024 thinking that I wasn't going to have the same year that I had the year before. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, I suppose I haven't had the same year. You know, has it been better? Yeah, in some ways. Has it been worse? Yeah, in some ways. Do you know what I mean? But it's not really the year that I really set out to to have. And I can only put that down to, those, not changing enough, not changing my thoughts enough, Joey. Do you know what I mean? Not changing, because if I change my thoughts, my actions should change. The outcome should change. So I'm thinking about 2025 now. Like we're in the middle of November. We've got December to go, and then we're into 2025. And I'm thinking, well, what do I want for next year? What do I want to achieve next year? What do I need to change today? Do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking about business. Of course, now we have got a very successful business already in the in-home pet care industry. Been around for about a decade and a half, delivered well over 500,000 pet care services to thousands of customers all over Ireland. And pre-COVID, we had set up several franchises. We just won at the Irish Franchise Awards. And then that period of time came along. That smashed up a lot of businesses, broke things down, and it changed things for a lot of people, Joe. Including myself. And people have come to me and they've asked me, do you want to? Can I buy a franchise and everything else? I've been putting them off. But I was asking AI, what's next in business? And one of the things that it came up with was remote and hybrid working models. And flexibility is now a competitive advantage. Companies are exploring tech and policies to manage remote workforces effectively. But this isn't just about workforces. This is about people who want to work for themselves, but not by themselves. They want to work with a company. Personalization and customer experiences. Businesses are focusing on hyper-personalized product services using data analysis, analytics. I can't even say that word. What's wrong with me? And there's no doubt about it that they are. Like when you go to Google, whatever it is that you're doing on the internet, you're being tracked. That information is being kept so that they can sell more stuff to you. Interesting here, Web3 and blockchain stuff, decentralized finance and blockchain applications like smart contracts are growing. And there's no doubt there was a massive, massive bounce, in crypto last week. I don't know if you have any investments in crypto or anything else like that. But there was some massive
I heard
jumps.
it was big jump.
Yeah. No, my wife Kate got very excited when she logged in yesterday. She was like, "What?" Right.
My friend,
globalization versus localization. And it's talking about global supply chains evolve. Businesses are also focusing on localizing operations to reduce risk. And of course, I suppose there is as we experienced over the last couple of years, the logistics is a problem. Do you know what I mean? Getting products from one place to another place. There were massive backlogs, if you remember, in America at the ports, to get stuff off boats and to the shops and different things. So doing stuff at a local level can definitely have its benefits. Health and tech and wellness, wearables, mental health, creating new market opportunities. So I'm thinking that even if you're sitting there at home and you're like me and you're like, I don't want to do the same. I don't want 2025 to be like 2024. What can I do differently? I think there's lots of opportunity out there, Joe. There's one here, creator and gig economies, platforms supporting freelancers, content creators and gig workers are thriving. Opportunities exist in offering tools and resources for this growing, workforce. So, again, that's two kind of opportunities. One for that person who's trying to create their own personal brand online, to be able to, maybe promote products and services into it. And then, the platforms that maybe host that, places like Rumble, for example, BitChute, YouTube that we're currently streaming on now, LinkedIn, these platforms are there to facilitate those types of things. Cybersecurity, data privacy, education and upskilling. The demand for lifelong learning and upskilling employees is crucial for technologies to evolve. And that's just some of the interesting things that ChatGPT was spitting out to me in relation to what opportunities or where business, might be going next. And I just thought some of those things were interesting, especially the gig economy or creator economy, which is really a space that a lot of people want to get into. You know, you've even got universities now and colleges running courses, social media, or courses and things like this. But that little course that we were on there last week, that 3-day course, which was free. The first 2 days were free. The third day was paid. Very, very interesting information in there. Some amazing kind of teachers and mentors telling their story. And, they're no different from you and I. In fact, to be honest, I would think that, I'd come from a place of hard knocks. Some of those people they were on the streets, man. Do you know what I mean? Turned their lives around, been in prison, all kinds of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And worked their way out of it. Now, that is one thing that I do totally agree with, though. I believe that you can work your way out of it. You can absolutely work your way out of any situation. You just have to have a desire and the will to do it,
Yeah.
But look, what are your thoughts on 2024, and what does 2025 hold for you, Joe?
Yeah, while you're sharing, it reminds me going back when we first started our podcast, and we studied Bob about, you don't know you are in a prison if you don't realize that you are in one, and I think that's the mindset of the past and also the current that we have. I think maybe we're comfortable with what we have, or something that we currently hold, or a limited belief that we have. But looking forward to the future, things are changed very quickly with the technology, with the AI, and also a lot of opportunity, like you just talked about, content creation. And we've seen a lot happen nowadays. It's become a trend in the social media. People, I just watched something that Eric recommended about the angry grandma. A guy, do a prank on his grandma all the time, and they got how many millions of followers? 11 million. And they because they constantly adding value, making people laugh, making people happy, by looking at the silly prank they do. But they do the work, and because it's consistently, they add value to their follower. For some reason, they monetize that to become a stream of income. And I think moving to the 2025, I'm the same, Mike. And one thing is we're keeping playing small all the time, and I think 2025 is time to stop playing small and just go to the moon and have a push and make 2025 different from 2024. And I think I can relate to what you share. And most of the time we get to another year and it just we realize that year might be the same or different, or the result was better last year than this year. So moving forward, as in my personal journey, I have grown a lot in my journey, personal. I have enjoyed life more, and knowing that the content creation that we do, and also the education that we do, and also the podcast that we do, that I give back to the community, to the people who follow my journey. And I said to them, you have to be careful, because I might take you with me, or you might take me with me on your journey. And I think one of the great joy when we hear successful people is one day that maybe someone come and tap you on the shoulder and said, look, I watch you with Mike doing this podcast in regard to health and wellness, or how to build a business from home. And I take that advice and make it as a career, or do something about it and change my life. And I think that's the biggest contribution that we do, is to change people's life. And you and I are in a professional role of helping people to come out of the limiting belief, and also believe in themselves that they can do something bigger. And we know that when we help those people, we are also helping ourselves, not only physically, mentally, but also financially. And So 2025, it's a year that I think for me personally, I have to live thinking small here into the 2024 and moving on to 2025 and be loud and also thinking big.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like, I think, like, it doesn't matter, Joey. Like, it's not easy, right?
Mm,
You know, like, it's easy to say. Like, I remember when we first started our business, back in 2009, right? We're in the middle of a recession, global recession, you know, and I didn't even want to do it. I'll be honest with you, Joe. And my wife came to me. They said, "I'll tell you exactly how it happened, right?" So my wife Kate, she's talking to a friend of hers in Wales who's looking after someone's cat and getting paid for it. And Kate is like, "Oh my God, I think we should definitely do this. We should definitely start a business like this. This is really going to solve all of our problems." And I'm like, "Why?" My ego really got in the way, right? Because I
mm,
was, at that time, I just finished working for the world's largest training and coaching company in Dale Carnegie. I'd been in business for myself as a coach. I've been charging 250 euros an hour. I'd spent 20 years in construction working from, laborer up to, apprentice director of a company. So, I thought I had status. Do you know what I mean? I thought I
mm,
was somebody, and I'm like, so when she brings this idea to me, I'm like, why would I want to do that? I've already got 2 dogs and 2 cats. Why would I want to look after someone else's pets? I was looking down on it. And she's like, "Oh, I think we should do it. I think it'd be amazing and everything else." And at that time, Kate's background was data analysis and customer research, right? And I thought, I'm gonna get her to prove that this doesn't work, And I was like, "Okay, why don't you do a survey? Why don't you collect the data and see if there's a business there?" And that's exactly what she did. She spoke to Central Statistics Office. She started to understand pet ownership numbers in Ireland. And then she did a survey, a nationwide survey, where she contacted pet owners all over the country, and she asked them a series of questions, like, what type of pets do you have? What type and how many pets do you have? How often do you travel away? What do you do with your pets when you travel away? All of this information. And she collected all this information, and then she just put it down in front of me. I remember it giving me this, like, document, pages of statistics and all the information, the answers to the questions. And the conclusion was, back in 2009, about 60% of pet owners in Ireland rated likely to use a service like this. And that was about 800,000 homes. And I thought, fuck, do you know what I mean? There's definitely a business there. And at that time, you could count on one hand how many people were doing this. You could literally, there was no one doing it, So, we decided to get started, and we started in November 2009, around about that time, around about this time, actually. We got started, and by March the following year, we'd launched, as a limited company. We started picking up customers, and that's how we got started, just from an idea, and we didn't even know what we were doing. And Joey, this is how bad it was, right? We had no idea what we were doing, literally no idea. Right, we were doing flyers and different things like this, and do you know what? We did some flyers in traffic one morning, and I didn't even want to do them. Like, I was humiliated. Do you know what I mean? I felt humiliated doing flyers in traffic, right?
mm, mm.
And Kate didn't want to do it either. And in order to get Kate to come with me, I promised to take her for McDonald's right afterwards. And got to about 9:30, and I'm like, right, I'm done. Come on, let's go. And we've probably given out maybe 100 flyers or more. Fucking hell, I just couldn't face it anymore. I thought, right, come on, let's go and get some McDonald's. And I bought a new phone so that if the phone rang, it would be from the flyers. Do you know what I mean? So we bought a new phone with a new number, so that if anything came through, it would come through on that number, and we'd know what it was about. So we were sitting down eating McDonald's, and the phone rings, and I push it across the table to Kate, and I say, "Look, you get it." And she pushes it back to me and says, "No, you get it." And neither one of us were afraid to answer the phone. And I learned then that it was easy to go out and actually do the flyers and create something to happen, but I didn't know what to say, Joe. When I didn't know what to say. So, learning. So, I'm telling you, but we were told, I was told in the beginning, that no one would use a service like this. That's what we were told. We were told no one would ever use a service like this. which is why today we're Ireland's largest, most recommended, most trusted in-home pet care company. Like I say, delivered well over 500,000 pet care services. We have a second business in America where we teach other people how to do what we do. And of course, it's a privilege to be able to do this, because we get to help pet owners feel like the best pet owner in the world by giving them a less hassle, less stress service. Now, like I was saying to you before, pre-COVID, we had close to 400 people working in our organization. We'd set up several franchises, just won at the Irish Franchise Awards. C19 comes along, don't ban me for saying it, or don't, black markers for saying the word C19, but, smashed up our business. We let all of our franchises close, and then since we've come back, it's like, what are we going to do? Do we really want to go down that route again? We've already done that, and it wasn't bulletproof. What's the point in doing it again if it's not bulletproof? If it's not bulletproof to that type of scenario again, and that scenario could come back, you just don't know.
Yeah.
But it's like I was saying to you last week, we've come up with a way, a quote on my wall, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, you've got to build a new model that makes the old model obsolete. And I think we've created a new model, where we're actually going to, unite this industry and bring it together, give people a real opportunity, where they can actually make a real income for themselves. And I'm excited about it. And I'm going to be sharing more of that, certainly coming up through December. Certainly into New Year, because we want to launch it. We've already got a location of where we're going to do it. And of course, this isn't going to be a local thing. This is going to be a global thing once we get moving. I'm super excited about it, Joe. I'm, passionate about it because I know about this industry, because I work in it and I've been in it. We built a business from scratch, from just an idea. We know what works. And it is about service, Joe. It's always about service. It's always about helping somebody else. And I think a lot of people who are in business, they can make it about themselves sometimes, Joe. Do you know what I mean? And once you start making it about yourself and you think that you are the king or the queen of this, you've lost it. Do you know what I mean? It has to be about serving somebody else. It has to be about, giving it away. And I'm excited about it. So I'm excited about 2025 from that point of view and what we're going to do there. I'm excited about even December. Got a lot of work to do. Like we're working on contracts at the moment and different things. But this is this is like putting meat, putting the flesh on the bone of the idea. Do you know what I mean? Where it's actually becoming real. Do you know what I mean? Like, because when you've got this idea, and maybe if you're watching this or maybe you're watching the replay, maybe you've got an idea. Do you know what I mean? And if you've got an idea, you've got to act on it. Because if you don't act on it, you might regret it. Right? Yeah. So I'm excited to know more about what you're going to do as well, Joe, because you are getting loud. There's no doubt about it. Like if anybody doesn't know where you can find Joey, you can find him on his Facebook page, joey.unga, facebook.com. Go and find him. Go and follow him.
Mike, there's a lot of resonate your journey, your story with mine. And I was smiling inside because when you talk about sharing how you started, and you have no idea how to do it, and you start from scratch and handing out flyer and push back the phone to your wife, and your wife was it way back to my journey with the property. And I remember when we came to Australia, we stayed with my in-law, and when my wife introduced me the idea to buy our first home, I was nervous as. Because I realized I have no idea what we get into. All I had was you get into debt, and how can I pay? I didn't have any. I have a job at that time, but the income was very, very low. Talking about just 10 grand a year, something like that. Back in 2003, but the idea was introduced to me in 2006. I was have some bad dream about it, and I kind of said to my wife, I don't know, but lucky my wife were already bought a property with a family at that time, and maybe she had that confident that we were able to do it, but with me. Fast forward the thing, that thought and that ideas have allowed me to expand in a way that when we first got our mortgage and buy our first home, it's allowed me to realize that I have to take full responsibility as a father to pay the rent, pay the mortgage, and also look after the family, because my wife was stay-home mom at that time, to stay with our two little kids at the time. So from there, it allowed me to work hard, allow me to figure things out and work it out. But not only that, it's funny, we after 2000, after 10 almost 10 years, I decided that I will get into investment, because I want to secure a future for my family, myself, and my wife when we retired. And when I shared that idea to my wife, she was scared. She was the one who introduced me. She introduced me to buy our home, but I think she was only thinking about buy our home and that's it. But because that idea was planted in me, I was scared, but I do it anyway, and I'll figure it out. And then I start to realize that this is gonna allow me to expand. And then I told my wife that I'm gonna get into investment. Uh, Investing in real estate. She was opposed about it, and she was not sure. But because he saw me going to workshop, webinar, and just find out, learn, and figure it out, and talk to people, and then get some idea, and even bring people that they educate in that professional to our home, and they educate us. And when I got the idea, I said, the fear start to move away from my pathway, and then I just scale from there, from one property, second, two property, three property. I look back and then realize that this year is all about not to brag. I realize entrepreneur and the people that success, they tell the world their thoughts, their ambition, and they figure it out. And I think that's, for me, 2025 is to be loud. And I realize now, even I took a friend, invite me to his farm on the weekend. I share with him what I want. I want to buy a little farm one day so I can grow my own crops and bring back some crops and sell it to the community, or give it to the community, something like that. So telling that my ambition, I'm being loud, I'm being sharing. But I get to a point now, I don't care what people think of me. That's not my business. I can't control that. They can think of what, they might be thinking, this guy from the island is crazy, talking about this, who he is to talk about that. But I train myself through personal training, and also the resources, the books that we read and we exposed to realize I have to, put on my own mask, and then when I can breathe, I can help other people to breathe too. So, 2025 is a year of me telling the world what I want to achieve in life, and figure it out. I have people, and that's the good thing in our journey. We know we have the network, we have the people to reach out to, get them their idea, in a different way. And you and I, we attend in a great program, 3 days program, and I think we take away a lot of value from that, and kind of light bulb moment. There's a lot of light bulb moment there, and you share that people that they've been to jail 2 times, and then they come back and they make the decision. They're gonna left what they've been done in the past, forgive themselves, and they decided to move forward in life. And I think the training in the VIP where Brett Lee, I think he said the best investment that you can do to yourself nowadays is to increase your self-worth. And 3 things he was touching on. And he said, first, you have to forgive yourself and the people.
So true.
There, forgive yourself and the thing you've done in the past, or the mistake you make. Past is past, gone. All you have to do is focus on your goal, what you want to achieve in life, and just move forward. And I think the second one, he was talking about the negativity. Avoid every negativity in life. Anything that, especially you associate, anything that people that they don't, support your idea and stuff like that. Just you don't have time for that. You just focus. You want to save your energy, your time, your knowledge, and focus on surround yourself with people that they cheering you, pushing you, uplifting you to go out there and get it going. And I think the second one I it slipped from my mind, but I think it will come back. So forgive yourself. And also forgive others, because a lot of people
Yes.
they can't really forgive others people. So, but
And
it's good.
it's not just about that, Joe. Like I do agree with you. Forgive yourself, right? But
Mm,
sometimes you need to ask for forgiveness. Do you know what I
mm,
mean?
yeah.
Like I remember, Jesus, God, I'm going back about 30 years, maybe. Yeah, at least 30 years. And I was working in construction. I was a site agent for a construction company in Manchester. And I remember
Mm,
upsetting somebody, or I upset the customer, upset the client, right? And upset them badly, you know. And I remember ringing him up in the evening and apologizing to him. Now he
mm,
told me to go and fuck myself, right? Right?
wow.
He did. He did. He told me to, and and I put the phone down, and my wife Kate, she was crying, and I said, "What are you crying for?" She said, "Because I don't think I could ever ring somebody up and ask them to forgive me." You know.
Mm,
I said, "Yeah, but he told me to go and f myself," and she said, "I don't care." She said, "I don't think I could do it." And I said, "I'm not bothered that he told me that to f off, because I know that I've asked him, and tried to apologize to him and have apologized to him. And if he doesn't want to accept that, he can hold on to it. I can now let it go,
mm, yeah.
And I did. It left me. So I apologized. He didn't accept it, but that's on him. If he wants to hold it, he can hold it.
Mm,
I've let it go
mm,
now.
yeah,
But you're
you done
right.
it.
Like even asking for even forgiving yourself is a big, big deal. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
You know, and you need to, and it is important to move on. You've got to have that faith in yourself, that belief in yourself. And I remember, when we started. In fact, to be honest, I think sometimes my confidence can be, mistaken for cockiness. I don't mean to be cocky. I'm not being cocky. I'm confident. Do you know what I mean? I'm
mm,
confident in
mm,
everything that I do. And even when we started this business all those years ago, after about a year, we picked up about 40 customers. We kind of proved that we could do it. We probably learned more about what not to do than what to do. Do you know what I mean? But I
mm,
remember going into the bank, and this, I remember going into the bank and saying to the bank, can you lend me 60 grand? And they just laughed at me. They just laughed at me and said, "No, we're not lending you any money." Do you know what I mean? Like we're in a recession, Mick. Do you know what I mean? We're not lending you any money. And I'm like, "Well, is it your decision?" And they're like, "Well, no, we just fill out the paperwork and send it into the underwriters." And I'm like, "Well, fill it out then." And they're like, "You're serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." So they filled it out. They sent it in. They rang me back and said, "No, they won't give you any money." I'm like, "Knock off 20 grand. That's for 40." And they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, just send it in." They rang me back and said, "No, Mike, I'm not going to give you any money." I said, "Look, I don't think you're kind of, putting across that we're going to do this. That this is literally something we're going to do. You're not kind of, being passionate enough about it, And they're like, "Mike, they're not going to lend you any money." I said, "Can I come in and see them?" They're like, "No, no, no. We can barely get in to see them. Mick, we're in a recession. Stop coming in here. We're not giving you any
mm,
money." And the guy who was dealing with his name was Christy, nice guy. And I said, "Christy, will you lend me €2?" And he just starts laughing at me. I said, "I'm
mm,
serious. Will they lend me €2?" He said, "Yeah, they'll lend you €2." I said, "Well, get back in there and keep going up until they say stop." And he's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, get back in and keep going up." He rang me back later that afternoon and said, "Look, they'll give you 12 grand." I said, "I'm taking it." And in the next year, we actually grew our business by more than 500%. Do you know what I mean? Just on the strength of that. We
mm,
went from 40 customers, to over 500 customers, and we were just flourishing. And that was because, the moral of that story is you've got to have belief in yourself before anybody else will believe in you. Do you know, especially if you're looking
yeah.
for something from someone. Like if you don't believe in what you're doing, if you don't believe that what you're doing is right, and can make a difference for other people, who else is going to believe you? Why would they give me money? If I just kept turning around saying, "Okay, no, they're not going to give us any money," that's going to defeat my confidence. If they don't believe in me, I'm standing there and I have to show them I believe in me. And I believed in me so much that they changed their mind and gave me money that they weren't going to give me because of my belief. And that's what you've got to do, Joe. You got to believe in you. So when you're thinking about 2025, when I'm thinking about 2025, I've got to believe in my idea, and I've got to put my idea into action. Do you know what I mean? I've got to do the things that I need to do. And you do so much social media. Is it about doing more? I don't know. Is it about being louder? Maybe it is. Is it about being more controversial? Not necessarily. I think you've got to be you. That's what it was about, right? It's about being authentic. Being yourself, being that best version of you. Like if I met you, if I actually came to Australia and I bumped into you in the street and you were this different person than what you are on here, I'd be like, who the fuck is this guy? Is he just a fucking actor when he's on the telly? When he's on the screen? You want to be the same person, don't you? That's what you want. And that's what I want. So, I think you're right, Joe. I think you've got to get active, got to get loud. Like I am pretty loud, I'm pretty brash. I'm not really that vocal on social media. I'm not. And there's a reason for it. It's because maybe I'm frightened, maybe I'm frightened that people won't like me. I think they'd like me. I think most people would like me. If they got to know me, they'd like me, but I suppose, I kind of am a little bit opinionated on some things, which might turn people off. But then, I'm not looking to attract those people. I'm looking to attract people who are turned on by it, right? Fuck them.
That's it. Hook him. Yeah, that's your brand.
Yeah. Anyway, so when I was asking ChatGPT, you use ChatGPT, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And it gave me two responses. The second response was, the future of business is shaped by blending emerging technologies, evolving consumer preferences, and global challenges. And the first one was sustainability and green business. Now, look, I don't know what your opinion are on climate change, climate action, environmental, social, and governments, and all this kind of stuff. But when I think about, I don't want to be a climate denier. I'm not saying that I am. But how high? When anybody talks to me about climate change, the only question that I have for them is, in the last 500 years, how high has the sea level risen? How much has the sea level risen in the last 500 years? And the answer is none. It hasn't.
Yeah.
So and if it was, all that beautiful property that you want to buy on the coast, which is very expensive, brings in great rents and everything else, all that property would be fucking worthless, Joey. If the seas were rising, people wouldn't be able to build there. So I don't get it. Someone can explain it to me. Because I'm thick. That's why, right? And of course, then it goes into digital transformations, AI and automation. There's no doubt AI tools are streamlining operations, enhancing customer experiences, and enable personalized markets. Now, of course, this is something that Eric Worre touched on in his book, Go Pro, all those years ago. Do you know what I mean? And there's no doubt about it that AI can do so much more now from a processing point of view. Because look, it's giving me this information. Blockchain, metaverse, workforce evolution, hybrid working models, upskilling and reskilling, employee well-being. Like, there's no doubt there's lots of different things that, if you were looking for ideas, on what kind of business you could get into. And I'm not telling you what business to get into. I'm not telling anybody what business to get into. But the first thing you want to do is you want to work with people that you like, right? I think regardless of what that is. And you want to be doing something that you enjoy. So like Joey, you love properties, right? Like you were talking about it just a moment ago. We were talking about you were scared of it. Now you've fallen in love with it. You're confident in it. And you've got the My Property Empire. Tell us about that.
Yeah.
How does somebody get involved in that?
Oh, my property empire is a friend that I found through social media. He popped up because a friend of mine that we do some real estate program together, and I saw his work. I resonate with what he do. I admire what he do, and I want to do something like that, able to increase my portfolio. But it's funny because our mind is very strong when you think about something, including people, including in a right intention, and for some reason you connect with the source, and he was the source. This guy was doing his own thing, and when I hear his story, he was selling, was doing something like very similar to what I do now in my business, but in a different, like a kind of small business, selling stages from Malaysia and stuff like that. And he remember that he told me his story that changed his life when no one buy his product, and he didn't have any money to pay for the bus fare to go back home. And for some reason, a stranger just gave him some money to pay for his ticket for the bus fare to go back home. And it was raining. He didn't sell anything. It was cold. And when he getting in the bus, he was wet. And he still remember that moment until now, even though he's successful with what he did. He told me, Joey, I never forget that day when I look back and I said, I won't go in and live like that. And I think, Bob talked about it. Sometimes what is you really, really want. You don't want to live like that, being slave to work to earn income or something like that. Whatever you you want to become, and what you don't want to become in life. It's yeah. So I for some reason I attract this guy in. I was getting ready to go to the army when I received that I have to enlist and go on the initial training. I was taking my family to a restaurant, and for my surprise, I turned around and I saw the guy standing behind me, and I said to him, "Are you the person that I follow on?" And this the name the name of the company is My Property Empire, and he said, "Yes, it's me." And I said, "I've been looking for you," and he was shocked. He was shocked. We never met before. And we have a quick photograph. One of the things that I do when I met someone that important, or someone that or maybe everyday people, we exchange number and also take a picture, and I send the picture to him so that it will stay with him, so he can still remember me, the stranger that I met. So I went to the army and I came back. I came back, and then I felt stuck on my property journey. I felt that I know there's a lot of way to move forward, but at that point of time, I was stuck. And then I changed my profile in LinkedIn to include my new role in the Australian Army as a combat engineer. He was the first one to send me a message to graduate me. But it's funny how the world works when you're, when you think about something and in your heart and your intention is right, for some reason, people show up in your life, because your intention is right, your attitude is right, with the world and others. For some reason, it will open up to you, and people start to show up. I reconnect with him. What I found, he is like more a project manager. That's what he do, and he shows the location and also the strategy to put it on. Have the team of builder, lawyers and stuff like that, and I'll just pay him a small amount of fee to do all the work. And I remember I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and Robert Kiyosaki talk about it, that there's a lot of smart people. They end up working for a lot of other people, and I didn't know that when the more I read the book and also grow as a personal growth, I realized I'm time poor, and I don't have all the team, the resource, but I can leverage other people's knowledge, other people's people. So
I think
that's the beauty of networking, and also the world we're living in. We can collaborate in a lot of ways, and when you have the right mindset, right attitudes, people show up in your life, and they're willing to help you.
to be honest, I suppose, look, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? And that's so true in many cases. But I suppose, when I think about 2024, we're talking 2024, 2025, what's next in business. You know, like you touched on something there, leverage. Leverage is so important. You know, it's like, you know, being able to leverage your time, for example. Like, obviously in my company, you know, everyone, you know, if I've got like 100 people working for me and every one of those 100 people can give me 1 hour a day, you know, let's say I'm working for 10 hours, but my company is effectively working for 110 hours a day, even though it's still that 24 hours, you know. So, you know, leveraging time is important, you know, being able to leverage your money. You know, certainly you're doing that in that property, you know, empire, you know, you're able to leverage your money along with other people, you know, there's a collective, you're able to leverage together. It makes a difference, you know. So, like, just understanding leverage, I think, can be a massive, massive thing, you know, massive thing. And that's why the power of the internet is so critical as well, Joe, because, you know, you can use the internet. So every time you put out a story, every time you put out a reel, every time you put out a post, you know, so you're on your phone, you're like, blah, 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 blah. Hey, snap, you know what I mean? And you put your phone down, that post and that reel is still showing all of the time. It's still there for somebody in 10 hours, in 20 hours, in 30 hours, or whenever. It's still there. You know, that's leveraging your time. You know, the internet can be working for you while you're sleeping or while you're at work or while you're out, you know, with your friends, you know, while you're doing something. The internet can be working for you. You can leverage that stuff. And if you can understand the power of leverage and put it to use for you, you know, oh my God, how amazing would that be? How amazing would that be, you know, if you could do that? So, listen, I'm going to get your final thoughts, Joe, because I love getting your final thoughts. What's next in business? You know, don't forget, you can find Joey on Facebook, joey.onga.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you everyone for watching this episode. I hope we are adding value in some way. Me and Mike always want to be in service, and you know, the profession that we are, it's all about service to others and to many, because we believe to be great in life, we have to save a lot of people, and that could be you. You are watching this. You know, if you're watching this and you want to find out a little bit more what we do, what we involve with the community that we have, please do not hesitate to reach out, because it might be the decision that you make to reach out. It might be scare you, but if you come in, reach out with a right intention, we might be able to give you some information that will change your life. And Mike and I will be been through that journey, and you know, someone said something to us, and we take it and implement it. And Mike shared with his journey in business world. You know, the idea was planned. It was scary. It was you know, doesn't make sense, but he do it anyway. And with his help of his wife, they built an empire in the pets in professional, and now they're reaping the rewards. So for me, I learned that business, you have a calling. If you are into business or entrepreneur, you will have a calling to a big cause, and you and I are going to appreciate and acknowledge that calling, because we have something within us, and that something within us is ready to be expressed and expand in a certain way to serve the many that will lead to greatness. You know, we hope we add value in some way. And you know, if you like or to value our podcast, please say some comment, or you know, drop us some like or share them with your loved ones, because you never know, someone out there is looking for an opportunity, maybe a business opportunity, maybe a personal development opportunity, maybe to leverage with other people's ideas, skills, and knowledge. And business is all about conversation. The conversation that we have a long time ago with Mike to start the podcast. Now we are in the number 73, because we make that conversation and we didn't stop there, but we take action, we implement, we plan, we do, we review, we turn up, we show up, and be consistent, because we want to add value. And not only that, me and Mike, I believe that doing this podcast, we're leaving our footprint in this world. That hopefully one day one of our generation will look up the work that we do today and hopefully have a big smile on their face and their spirit, knowing that someone out there a long time ago from their family or bloodline will contribute to this world in a certain way. We love you all. Thank you very much for everything. And thank you for watching. We're looking forward to see you next time. Bye-bye.
Amazing, Joey. Listen, you know, we should just put a little segment together of all Joey's final thoughts over the 73 shows that we've done and just put them. I might do that, you know.
Thank you, Mikey.
All right, listen, don't forget, like, subscribe, share, click the notification button so you'll learn when we're on. And again, like Joey says, look, reach out, get in touch. You know, we really do want to help. You know, like, look, service to many does lead to greatness, and we want greatness for you. That's really what we want. You know, because the more people that we can help, you know, the more we get in return as well, you know. But look, personal development with a lifestyle plan, that's what it's about, or even a business plan, whatever you want. You know, we just want what's best, you know, for you, for us, and for the world, really. You know, but I don't know what's best for the world, but that's really what we want. That's really what we're looking for. But look, let's make the rest of this year, let's kick off the last part of this year, you know, set some goals to actually have a goddamn goal. Do you know what I mean? For 2025, start putting this shit into action, you know, and let's kick it off. There's no point in waiting. Now is the time. Now's the time to get started. You know, otherwise I'm going to send Joey around to kick your fucking ass. Right, let's get out of here. Have a great weekend. We'll play out with our favorite video. Right, see you in a bit.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. And you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your step. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wakened the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.